Warning, Sable contains gruesome depictions of violence, gore, and strong language. It's intended for mature audiences only. Thanks for listening.
Sable, Germany, Part 5. As the transmission ended, and the radio went silent once more, a punch to Archimedes' side sent him flying through the air, spiraling around and around until his back collided with the ground a few good feet from where he was once standing. Dust shot up all around him, getting into his lungs and forcing him to gag violently, his body twitching about. Didn't the void say no harm would come to him here? Was he really that surprised that an ominous voice lied to him? Once he could finally bring fresh air into his lungs, Archimedes did his best to stand back up, his knees trembling, his back screaming at him for moving about. Drool poured from his lips, a bit of blood mixed in for good measure. His eyes span about inside his skull, his vision blurry to say the least. Still, he could make out the silhouette of whoever, or whatever, had sent him flying. It was tall, hunched over, and it seemed to be limping towards him, perhaps to strike another punch. Archimedes held out his hands, fingers stretched to show he meant no harm, and yet the creature kept shambling towards him, not bothering to pause. Hey, stop! Don't come any closer, please! No response came, just more steps as the thing came closer to Archimedes, its left foot pressing into the light of an overhanging street lamp. Come on, I'm unarmed. You have no reason to pick a fight with me. Still, no response from the shadow that was now walking into the light completely. Now, Archimedes could make out just what this creature looked like. It was a man, or, at least, what used to be a man. It looked like a shambling corpse, its skin wrinkled and rotting away, its eyes nothing more than two sunken sockets with just a tiny orb moving about in them. Its mouth hung wide open, revealing very few teeth, and the ones that were in there were cracked, some with holes in them. One hand limped carelessly in the wind, swaying with each step it took while the other clutched at the beast's chest, blood pouring from between its fingers. It was hurt, badly, and yet Archimedes could just feel that whatever this thing was, it wasn't going to stop moving until he was dead. A large snarl passed its lips, its teeth clacking together. Stop! Don't take another step or I'll... Or you'll what? Its voice cut through Archimedes like a knife. It was so ragged, so hoarse, as if each word caused the beast great pain. What more could you possibly do to me? How much more damage could you do? You've already taken my friends, the city, Ray. There isn't anything worse you could do to me. Not a damn thing. Ray? I don't even know who you're talking about. I didn't do any of this. I mean, look at me. I'm nothing. I'm terrified of you. You knocked me back with one punch. I'm no threat in any way, shape, or form. I don't even know where I am. You killed him. Killed him with your own hands, and now I have nothing. I'm just trapped here, forced to live in this vast emptiness alone. No Jenny, no Ray, no DeThorne, just me and you. I'm trapped here too. I don't know how to get out either. I'm in the same exact position you're in. All right, maybe I'm not a living corpse, but I've also had things I love and care about ripped away from me. I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of here. I'm no threat. In fact, you and I could help each other. The corpse stalled, its orbs locked upon Archimedes. What do you mean? How could we help each other? I don't know, but 2 heads have to be better than 1, right? I mean, if we both work together, maybe we can get out of here. Maybe you can get your friends back. No, that's impossible. You killed all of them. Every single one. I didn't do any of this. I haven't killed anyone.
I believe he has you confused with me.
It happened in the blink of an eye. Archimedes almost missed it. From behind the corpse, a new figure appeared, practically appearing from thin air. It was a tall, imposing figure draped in a long black cape that danced about in the air. Its head was a flaming skull, horns stretched out of the top and forming a hideous crown. The zombie spun about to face the new challenger, and in doing so, fell right on his ass, trying to scramble away from this new foe. The cloaked skull just laughed, extending its arms up into the sky, talon-like fingers stretching out, all aimed at the fallen foe. Archimedes could do nothing but watch as the beast struck, leaping atop the zombie, tearing him to pieces. The corpse screamed out for mercy, but soon fell silent, collapsing flat on the floor, the lights in his eyes fading out. Now, it was just Archimedes and this new monster. The monster slowly turning its flaming skull to face the frightened man.
Thank you for distracting him. This little fucker has been evading me for quite some time. It was starting to drive me mad.
The thing laughed again, Archimedes still frozen in place.
I hope he didn't hurt you too much. He always did pack one hell of a punch for a corpse. Well, no matter. He's gone now, which allows us to talk without any interruption.
Are you the Silent Void?
Are you kidding me? No, I'm not the Silent Void. I just happen to serve them, much like you.
I don't, though. I don't serve them.
Oh, don't worry. You will. We all do.
What do you mean by that? The creature paused, rising up from the ground and kicking the torn-apart corpse for good measure. He then seemed to glide over towards Archimedes, arms crossed over one another.
I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm the Mad King Archimedes.
Archimedes? Does that mean...
Yes, I'm you. A different version of you, of course. For one thing, you don't have a flaming skull for a head.
I don't understand.
We never do at first. Every time one of us stares into the cosmic infinite, we are left with so much confusion. So many questions with no immediate answers. You'd think it would get easier with each time, and yet, here we are, with you going through the same journey I needed to go on. A journey for clarity, for understanding. Archimedes, the worlds were imperfectly made by imperfect gods. They died before they could even see their vision come into fruition. No planning, no delegation. They just created all of this. The Crimson Web was formed without so much as an end goal in mind. Because of that, chaos reigned. See, we weren't meant to exist without a guiding hand. Someone who could lead us.
And what? The Silent Void thinks it can be that guiding hand?
It knows it can. They have every bit of confidence that they can make things right. But before a new foundation can be laid down, the old needs to be eradicated, erased. Imperfections have no place in paradise. That's why we're here. That's why we do what must be done.
But why us? Why me?
Who knows? Perhaps we're the only ones that can fully grasp what the Silent Void is trying to do. That's what I like to think, at least. We Archimedes have been given a great task, and now it's finally time for you to understand your purpose in all of this.
But what if I don't want to? What if I don't want any of this?
Archimedes, you're the last door that needs to be open. You're the only one with the key. Once you set in motion the Silent Void's great design, the Crimson Web will be no more, and with it, its destruction, a new kingdom can be built.
A kingdom built on the dead.
Necessary deaths for a worthwhile cause.
And how do I know that this cause is worthwhile? How do I know we aren't just being used? Hell, how do I know if any of this is even real? I mean, you just killed a shambling corpse.
Just killed his ghost friend not too long ago either.
You aren't making this seem any more real. Now I'm sure I'm dreaming.
Here, let me take you to them. Let's have you meet face to face. Well, one of their many faces, I suppose.
What? You're taking me to the void? And just like that, a rush of wind knocked Archimedes forward, the Mad King floating beside him carelessly, as if he had done this 1,000 times before. The world rushed by them, the city nothing more than a flash of grays and whites. Soon, there was no city, there was no ground either, just vast darkness with no end in sight. Archimedes fought hard to keep his eyes open, however, desperately hoping he could make out anything in this empty space. Minutes seemed to rush by until Archimedes soon found himself back on solid ground, a mountain looming high above him. Though he wasn't certain, he could have sworn he could see eyes looking upon him, shapes shifting and swaying in the mountains, almost the movements of breathing. His eyes kept roaming the new landscape until he looked upon the figure that was standing right before him and the Mad King. She was tall, thin, with long flowing hair that seemed to dance in whatever air there was in this dark place. The dress she wore was black with what seemed like stars splashed over it. Her emerald green eyes were so bright, they were practically illuminating the ground she stood on. Once Archimedes laid eyes upon her, her pale lips curled into a warm, inviting smile.
This is the speaker for the void, the one that shows us the path towards a new, better world. This is the Lady in Black, the Cosmic Infinite.